Today's mission, let's find out how practical my solar setup actually is. So that's when I had to use the EcoFlow to trickle charge my Tesla for about a day. How efficient is it to charge my home? 190, wow! We're charging! Dude, this is awesome! Do I regret drilling holes in my hood? Today, we are in Los Angeles National Forest. So a few months ago, when I drove to the Arctic Ocean, I had an issue. I had one problem with this car. It wasn't actually range, but because I was driving through such a remote area, I had to unplug all my electronics, which meant that my fridge, my Starlink, they wouldn't be powered on during the time of driving. So I was like, there must be a solution. And if today is the first time we've met, my name is Sandro. I've lived out of this Beluga for the last 2 years. And throughout that time, I've roamed all over North America. And Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. We're just on the outskirts of Los Angeles. That's where I left the car when I flew back for the holidays to Boston to spend some time with family. But it is so nice to be back on the open road. My heart just belongs out here. So I want to be honest with you guys. I did not get paid to install these solar modules. Mito Solar gave me these panels for my expedition through Central and South America. And I'm super excited because this is the world's first, I guess, solar powered Tesla indirectly. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later today. But yeah, these are the solar modules. They've been on there for about a week and I've been testing them. So let's go take a look just to see how they've been holding up. Kyle and I, we just finished kitting it, or caulking, I guess that's the word. And it's a special caulking. I'll put the name up here. I can never say it right. I struggle with that all the time. But we ended up caulking it on the edges so water wouldn't come in. And just to provide a little bit more aerodynamics up here as well, right? And some people have been asking me, like, why did I put them on the hood? Why not on top of the Falcon doors or on the glass? And that is because it's because of the solar junction boxes. So that's the electrical wiring that sits underneath the panel. There's two options. You can get it on top or at the bottom, but because I want to reduce my drag as much as I can, I decided to drill some holes and have the solar junction boxes at the bottom. Hello, shade. So in total, there's 34 little solar modules on each panel. So 34 here, 34 there. Some quick math, so that's 68 total panels here. Peak output is 120 watts each, so 240. And right now, it is about 9 a.m. whenever it wants to load. So I'm getting 114 watts right now. I've also combined it with the DC outlet in the back. So total, I'm getting 224 watts. And if you can see right here, with this combined, because I have the EcoFlow Delta 2 Max, it's gonna take about 16 hours at this capacity input to fully charge. So if I take the 12 volt DC out right now, so now I'm getting about 109 watts, but it's telling me it's still gonna take 16 hours to fully charge. Let's actually put it back in and see. So total input right now is 213 watts to 250. But it's still telling me 16 hours. That isn't correct. Let's try that again. See, this is all kind of a learning process. Kind of playing it out and see how everything aligns. So it's still 16 hours. That doesn't make sense to me. So one more thing that I want to add, which is kind of important, which just makes these solar panels even more ideal, is because once I step away from the car with the latest Tesla software update, everything turns off, which means that whenever I'm away from the car, which sometimes can be hours on end, sometimes a few days, the EcoFlow stops charging, right? So this 12 volt is useless then. So that's why with the solar modules, as long as I have sun, and even on days where it's very cloudy, there is still a solar input. So sometimes it might just taper off just a little bit, top it off. And sometimes it charges it fully, right, in about a day or so, which is awesome. So I can't combine them, the DC with the solar, but on remote road trips, which is coming up, I can just solely rely on solar just to top it off. So it is a very nice addition to have. with the hood just being like this, we are, how far? So we're only getting about 29 watts, which makes sense, right? Because it's away facing the sun. So now let's open it. There we go. Let's see. I think that's a good angle right there. That is amazing. Okay, let's play around with the angle. So if I put it higher. Oh wow, 180 watts right now. 190, wow, 197. 200 watts, what? 200 watts right now. That's amazing. Look at that, 200 watts. And best part is, because it is on the hood like this, I don't have to set it up, because when you live on the road and you do these long expeditions, anytime it takes more than 10 to 15 seconds to do something, the less likely you're gonna do it, if that makes sense. That's why I've streamlined my kitchen, so I cook more often, and having this streamlined like that, I don't have to worry about setting it up. I don't have to worry about someone stealing it. Unless they take the hood or take the car, but I don't have to worry about the wind, because most places where I tend to be, there's a lot of wind. This is why I got it, because it's so practical. Once it's up, I don't have to do anything for it. The only thing I have to do probably, like, you know how most people walk their dogs in the morning? I'll be cleaning my solar modules every morning. It'll become like a morning routine. Post-workout, what you do? Well, I go clean my solar panels. But let's go cook right now. Let's use some of that solar energy we've harnessed. And then I actually want to deplete the battery itself, see what we realistically have left, and charge the car and see how much we can get, because we did lose about 3% last night for sleeping here. Some seasoning salt, the most underrated, I think, spice out there. I also got a new cast iron pan. I threw out my old one because I had scratched it, and those metals get into your food, and that's not very good for you, apparently. So I threw it out, got a cast iron pan, and been cooking up with that. It is a little bit more maintenance, but it's a lot better. And I can get the eggs nice and crispy. Because for you guys who know, who've been following my channel for a while, yeah, it's a headache with my other pan. It's not an egg anymore. Oh man. Let's see how this goes. Avocado with the egg. Please don't stick. Oh no. Eee. It'll do. But this kind of views, yeah, these are. We forgot. This makes it seem it's 10 times bougier than it really is. Balsamic glaze from Trader Joe's. Delicious. It's like a game of Tetris. Trying to keep things as organized as I can. It feels like I'm holding up a fish to catch the day. But now for the real test. How much juice can we get out of this with the solar input of right now? It's a real test because I didn't prepare for any of this, which is kind of like an expedition in itself. And I think it'll be easier if I planned ahead. What I mean by planning ahead is that I just charge this battery pretty much 95% using solar, over the last day or so. So it's mostly solar powered, and we're gonna be plugging this in to see how many miles or mile we can get out of it. It might be our world's first, I'm not sure. It's just a test, so don't need to destroy my life in the comment sections, but let's give this a try. So to charge using an EcoFlow Delta 2, which I have the Maxer right here, you need a grounder. Otherwise, the charging system, the mobile adapter, detects a fault, which, if you guys remember, for my expedition all the way up to the Arctic Ocean was an issue that I've had. So this is the temporary solution. 120 volt into the external battery pack, grounded right here, and then I have my plug right here, and that's charging the Tesla right now. As all the electrical wiring at Eagle Plains had a grounding issue. So that's when I had to use the EcoFlow to trickle charge my Tesla for about a day before I figured it out. But yeah, so this is a vital tool. So I'm unplugging everything now, just to be sure. The car DC inlets here. So only thing that's coming into the car right now is the solar. Put that in here. There you go, it's the Tesla mobile adapter. And there. Great. Blue lights. It's communicating. We're charging. Dude, this is awesome. But it's indicating green. Let's go. Okay, so let's see what we're getting right now. 1.2 kilowatts output. We're charging about 12 amps. So right now we have about 23% battery. Right now we have about 202 watts, which is the highest I've ever recorded of solar input right now. So 1.242 kilowatts, 48%. Time remaining at this speed is about 42 minutes.
A few moments later.
Just blocking out the haters. Okay, so while I was doing all this, halfway through the test, I ended up switching to NEMA 520, so I can pull 16 amps out of the EcoFlow. But that's what I think caused the problem, as the EcoFlow overheated. Right there. It has a little error. So I think that did not help, but I was able to pull more out of it. And so let's go check how many miles we actually gained, because this is insane. I always say free juice is free juice, right? And I think we gained about 2 miles of range. So we have 24% right here. We started with 76 miles and now we're at 78. So in theory, we charged 2 miles.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Whether that is like the car just recalibrating itself and figuring out it was actually not 76 but 77, and then we added 1 mile or 2, it's still so cool. And in the meantime that I was actually charging, I was actually answering all the comments and questions from the previous video, and I'm so grateful that you guys spent time with us installing this. I got a lot of love, a lot of hate, a lot of keyboard warriors that have their opinions about this. For me personally, this is so invaluable, because when I'm continuing on these remote expeditions, I can keep my fridge, my Starlink, my other supplies essentially running, and that is vital for me. So hypermiling would have a different definition. Thank you so much for being with us today. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, we have a lot coming our way, and we'll definitely be testing these more. Thank you so much to Meter Solar for wanting to make this work, and drive safe out there, okay? Cheers.